these states are pretty consistent. If I had to guess, just looking at these three states without looking at the 2020 election, I would pretty much predict that in 2020, all of these states are going to remain red, and all of these states are going to remain red, and all of these states here are blue. All of these are going to be blue because the mapping color is pretty much, it is the same. There is no flipping. There is no flipping from the middle of the United States to the west. From Louisiana up to Minnesota, there is no flipping. Everybody has been consistent. 2008, they were consistent. 2000, well, I don't know if they were consistent because I didn't do 2004, but 2012 to 2008, it's pretty much consistent. If we look over from West Virginia to Kentucky, all of these states have been pretty much consistent, right? So if you're Democrat, the states that I would think that the Democrats would want to take would be, well, let me back up, not necessarily Democrats. If you are running for, if you're the Republican nominee or the Democratic nominee, the states I think that you would want to spend the most amount of time on, not looking at the 2020 election, is Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Florida. Because these, and I guess we can actually say North Carolina. I didn't pay attention, but President Obama did lose North Carolina. He had won North Carolina in his first election, but now I see that he lost Indiana and he lost North Carolina. North Carolina is 15 votes, so that's at approximately 20 votes that we were looking at. So with 15 with North Carolina and 11 with Indiana, so that's that 26 votes. So it's not really a whole lot of redistricting as I had indicated before, or congressional size is changing. Basically, losing Indiana and losing North Carolina, that's pretty much, that's that 20 vote swing. That's pretty much that 20 vote swing that we were looking at. Now, again, what I was saying was, if I were to predict or project for the Democrat or Republican nominee in 2020, in the 2020 election, that the swing states, those states that would be the states that we would think that those candidates would be spending the most amount of time and the most amount of money on, would be Florida, because we know that Florida flipped in 2016. North Carolina, because we know that North Carolina flipped in 2008. Wisconsin, because we know that Wisconsin flipped in 2016. Michigan, because we know that Michigan flipped, and Pennsylvania flipped, and Ohio flipped in 2016. So with those projections, we come back and we look at the 2020 election. In the 2020 election, now we've got President Biden against President Biden against former President Trump. So we see that Biden picked up 306 votes and Trump picked up 232. Whereas in 2016, Trump picked up 304 and in 2020, he picked up 232. So what this tells me here is that somebody flipped in 2020 that Trump had in 2016. First thing I look at, which one of the states that normally flip? Florida didn't flip. North Carolina didn't flip. Indiana and Ohio didn't flip. But Pennsylvania flipped, Michigan flipped, Wisconsin flipped, right? So I think now we can say that Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are purple states. They're purple. That means they're not holding to one particular candidate. They're going with the candidate that makes the most sense for their state, right? And I'm not saying that these red states are not thinking that these candidates are not good for their state, but what we're finding here with all of these states that are red, definitely in the middle of the United States, these states are pretty much consistently red states. In 2020, they were red states. In 2016, they were red states. In 2012, they were red states. In 2008, they were red states. Now, one thing that President Biden did in 2020, he also flipped Arizona. He also flipped Arizona. If we look over, Arizona was red in 2016. It was red in 2008. And it was red in 2012. He flipped Arizona. Not only did he flip Arizona, he flipped Georgia. He flipped Georgia. Georgia was red in 2016. Georgia was red in 2008, and Georgia was red in 2012. But he flipped Arizona, and he flipped So, of course, as I always say, there's several ways to skin a cat, and learning business intelligence is no different. There's several different business intelligence tools. There's many different business intelligence courses that are out there that'll teach you data analytics, whether it be on the political science side, whether it be on the sports side, whether it be on the business side. Data is data. Business intelligence is business intelligence. You can call it artificial intelligence if you want to, but they're really, somewhat different. But pretty much they intertwine together so that political scientists, sports teams, sports organizations, and businesses can make intelligent decisions using the integration of both business intelligence and artificial intelligence. With that said, the tool that I am using in order to teach business intelligence is called Power BI. It's called Power BI. To be honest, if I can learn it, anybody can learn it. I am not a tech guy by degree or anything like that. It's just something that I picked up, through time. If you are considering yourself not to be too technologically inclined, trust me, it's okay. My course that I teach, powerofthebi.com, is fairly simple. I'm not gonna say it's simple. I mean, it does take some time. It's not something you're just gonna jump right into and be like, hey, now I've got it. No, it doesn't work like that. But for the most part, if you're willing to put the time in, I'm willing to put the time in with you. And it's a self-paced course. We meet once a week. We meet live once a week, but it's a self-paced course to where you can do as much or as little as you like every day. If you have questions, you'll be able to communicate within our Facebook group to get answers that you may need. With that said, I really hope you are interested, or hope you are looking to take that next move and getting into business intelligence. And I'm telling you, you will not disappoint if you are willing to put in the time. So, with that said, I look forward thank you for stopping in, and I look forward to seeing you win again in the next video.